Hi everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on Hermes quota bags. I recently shared with you my unboxing. Was it an unboxing? Not really. My reveal of the Birkin 25 in Rose Sakura, which I am so thrilled about. And in that video, and then also on other social media channels like TikTok and Instagram and in my DMs, I got a lot of messages from folks just being like, how do you even start? Do you have any advice for how to get a quota bag? Do you have, like, how does it even work? And so I thought I would make a video on how to get an Hermes quota bag. Now I will start with a disclaimer, right? And it's a big disclaimer because I know this is a very contentious topic and, people have opinions and those opinions aren't always generous, for lack of a better word. This video is going to be a 101 video. So if you are learning about quota bags, if you're learning about Hermes and you just really are starting from zero, I have hey, these are the quote unquote rules, and every rule is made to be broken. These are this is how to do it in the US, I think in 2025 or, maybe 6 months from now, how it actually works. It is not, I don't know. There's so much alchemy, I don't know. This is 101. This is just the basics. This is just you're starting to learn about Birkins and Kellys. You think, ooh, I like handbags. I've always wanted one of those. How do I get one of those? This is the video for you. Within that, I will include some of my personal opinion and advice, but some of it is just going to be the basic facts. So if you're starting your Hermes journey, you can start here. If you are already a seasoned Hermes quota bag buyer, leave your own tips in the comments, watch this video, let me know, do you agree, do you disagree? Let's keep it kind though, and we'll take it from there. I brought some quota bags because, I candy, I think it's pretty. And then I have my two Kellys back here. This is Kelly 28, this is Kelly 25. We could also do another video, which is quota bag 101. If people are liking this 101 starter content. I know sometimes I am so passionate about bags and I get into the history and I watch a million videos, and so I just kind of sometimes can take some information for granted, and you shouldn't, because there's always new people becoming interested in things, new people joining the crazy club of handbag collectors, that it's okay, sometimes we need to go over the very basics of it all. So I just thought, let's do that. So these rules, and I'm totally gonna knock one of these Birkins down. So place your bets now, which one's falling first and how upset am I gonna be? It's gonna be the pink one, so I'll just move it. Okay. These rules apply in the US. Internationally, things are different. And I'm not well versed on that. I've never bought a quota bag internationally or been offered one, so I can't really advise to that. There's different rules all around the world, and specifically there's different rules in Paris. But for the United States, here is what you need to do. First, ask yourself if you want just a quota bag or if you like other things that Hermes sells, because on your journey, so-called journey, to getting a quota bag, you are going to be shopping at Hermes. If you do not like other things at Hermes, if you don't want clothing, shoes, housewares, jewelry, perfume, candles, if you don't like any of that stuff, you don't want that stuff, the best advice I could give you is to just go on the resale market. Because buying a quota bag in store, and there's an exception to every rule. Like I said, there's going to be someone who's well, I just walked in, asked for a Birkin. They said, here you go, ma'am. And I left and never spoke to anyone again. That is 1 out of 10,000, right? For the majority of people, if you want a quota bag, you're going to be shopping at Hermes. So if you really ask yourself, hey, do I like these shoes? Do I like these clothes? Do I like scarves? Do I like you know, the accessories? Do I like the bag charms? Like, if the answer is no, then I would really, really encourage you to shop the resale route. You'll be happier. You'll probably spend less money in the end. And there's that. The other question you have to ask yourself is, how tied are you to the specific specs of the bag? Because again, if you are very, very tied to something very, very niche that maybe isn't available anymore, it also might be wise to pursue the resale route. Like if you're like, the only bag I want is a Rose Sakura Palladium hardware Birkin 25, nothing else will do. And let's say that you want it in Chev. Well, as far as I know, Rose Sakura isn't being made in Chev right now, as far as I know. Okay. And if that's the only bag you want, and that's the only combination you'll accept, you may also want to pursue the resale route. Just because, you know, if you're thinking you want to acquire quota bags, it's easier for you, for the sales assistants, for everyone, if you are thinking about it like a journey where you're like, well, maybe I would have a neutral in one size and you know, a light neutral in one size and a dark neutral in another size, and then add some pops of color over time. Like, that approach, and then knowing that it's going to be a journey, it'll be many years of shopping 2 quota bags a year, just having that kind of in your mind, I think sets you up for more success than not. So those two things, right? So I think my advice, before you embark on the Hermes journey, make sure that you're comfortable and are excited to buy stuff at Hermes. Maybe you've already bought stuff at Hermes. That would be like the best scenario. And now you're starting to think about a quota bag. I think that's a really great place to be. And then also, like, how very, very, very specific is your wish? Are they even making that color anymore? Like, is it even going to be attainable in a year or two, or what have you? So that is like before you even begin. This is the 101. Then location, location, location. Then you have to think, where in the United States are you, and where is the closest Hermes store to you? Or which Hermes location would you be visiting multiple times per year? I will say up front, it is much easier to establish a relationship if you are in the same city that the store is in. It's very difficult to do this remotely off the bat. There are some cities where it is easier to do it, I think, remotely than other cities. But the fact of the matter is, regardless, you're gonna have to go pick up your quota bag in person. So you'll need to be in that city at least 2 times a year. And then also just acknowledging sales associates at Hermes are very busy. And it can be hard to maintain a relationship and keep attention remotely. It's just tougher if there's not already a basis there. So, location. Where are you based? Where is the nearest Hermes store? Or what is the city that you go to multiple times a year where there is an Hermes store where you want to shop? Here is like the #1 rule to like getting a quota bag is you're going to be shopping at Hermes, #1. #2, at the same location. #3, with the same sales associate. So, and #4, not online. You're gonna have to pick a store, a sales associate, and be loyal and faithful to them in order to build up your profile to be offered one of these bags. So in thinking about locations, there are lots of different things to consider. And this is more now turning to my advice versus just the facts. I would say the facts are, you shop at a single store with a single sales associate. You need to go there at least 2 times a year. definitely. I mean, to pick up your bag for sure. And you're not going to shop online, and you're going to be buying things at Hermes. So yeah, when it comes to picking a location, there's different things to consider. So, and everyone kind of has a personal take, and this is like I said, my opinion, a little bit of alchemy. So just kind of weigh out the pros and cons. It's kind of like, do you want to go to a liberal arts college? Do you want to go to an Ivy League college? Or do you want to go to like a Big Ten school, right? Because they're all legitimate options. They just have different pros and cons to them that are all like legitimate pros and cons. So there are like the big Maison, like in New York, there's the Madison Avenue store. There's the Beverly Hills store. I would say those are maybe like the two biggest stores in my opinion. So good news, bad news about a big store in a big city. Good news is they get a lot of bags, right? And it's a big store and they have a lot of product coming in. So there's lots of different things to shop from. There's lots of variety. Like the in-store shopping experience can be easier because things are just available because the store itself physically actually is big and full of stuff. So that's the pro. The con is, well, there are a lot more bags. There are a lot more people. There are a lot of people in Los Angeles and New York, like period, living there. And then there's a lot of people that come and visit and do tourism there. And so, you know, there's this mix of competition, if you will. So they get a lot of bags, but there's a lot of people, right? And they get a lot of different bags. Then there's like I don't know, so I would call those, what even would I call that? That is like, is that the Ivy League or is that the Big Ten? I feel like that's Big Ten. Big Ten, big store, big inventory, big competition, all of that. Then, but they're still very competitive. So like Big Ten and an Ivy League. I don't know, this competition's kind of, this metaphor is breaking down as per usual. All the metaphors break down in the end. Then there's like the Ivy League stores. And these stores are like decently sized. So, you know, it's not like a small store. It's not a remote store. Competition's solid, but inventory can be very specific to the clientele. And so these are stores like, I would say, well, I don't know, but like San Francisco, Seattle, Palo Alto, Boston, Miami. So let's take San Francisco and Miami. Maybe Miami is a little bit bigger, maybe has a little bit more inventory. San Francisco has a lot of big spenders for sure. In San Francisco, if you look at the fashion in San Francisco versus the fashion in Miami, San Francisco, everybody's asking for an etoupe, a gris pale, a noir, you know, a gold, whatever. Like it is the majority of their inventory, first of all, but also demand, second of all, is like in the neutral, quiet category. I'm not talking about quiet luxury. I'm talking about like quiet colors. Miami, the demand is for color, right? Because if you think of the fashion in Miami, it's like very beautiful, very bold, very loud, and that's what they're getting. They're getting exotics, they're getting colors, they're getting a lot of it, and there's a lot of competition, but the demand for like an etoupe or a gray or a gris pale is not as much as like, you know, the yellows and the pinks and the blues, right? And so you have to ask yourself, one, is San Francisco even gonna get the specific thing that I'm looking for? But two, they'll get it in Miami. Will I even be able to get it? You just need to kind of decide that. And then there's, I guess, like the liberal arts colleges. I don't know. The metaphor is gone, done and dusted. But then there's like the stores where I'm just like, you're the lucky ones. Like if you live in Austin, I would just say, oh, you're lucky because Austin, I think, is like decently sized, not too much competition. They get good stuff. They're relatively new stores, so the client base, like there's just like some store, like, I don't know, maybe, and you could disagree with me because this is, like I said, these are just my opinions. I don't actually shop in these stores, so I'm just kind of like looking from afar. Like Boston, I can't imagine trying to get a black bag from the Boston store, actually getting any bag from the Boston store. It's very difficult, but if you live in Boston, it may be the best option for you because, you know, maybe the remote thing is hard to start from scratch. But if you like are living in Orlando, but planning to move in a year, you could start your journey in Orlando because you know you're gonna go back there. Anyway, but yeah, like Orlando, Austin, I don't know. Those are really, maybe Topanga. I don't know. People will probably disagree with me about Topanga. But oh, some of the other stores in New York, like the less popular ones, like Wall Street, Meatpacking, those are kind of like more what I call like sweet spot stores. And so like a place like Palo Alto could be a sweet spot for you if you like really bright bags and you don't want all the neutrals, right? Because they won't get that many, but there won't be that much demand for them, that kind of balance. So you have to pick a location. You have to figure out, okay, where am I going to shop and how am I going to do it? So once you have the location targeted, oh, and then, sorry, really quick rewind. There are stores that are actually particularly catered to remote clients. And I would say that that is Las Vegas, Hawaii in particular are catered to servicing remote clients or tourists, as it were. So those are good options for remote stores. And I know of people that have had good success there. So if you're looking for a remote shopping experience, I would say probably places like Las Vegas and Hawaii. I'm sure there's others, but they're like going to be very good at that or open to that. If you're like, I want this to be my home store and I come X number of times a year, you know, and I want to shop remotely, there's that. Okay. So then you're feeling good. You're like, I'm ready to shop at Hermes. Like I like more things than just the bags. The bag's something I want, but it's like, I also generally want things from the stores. I'm going to pick a store. I'm going to shop consistently at it. You pick the sales associate you want to work with and be loyal to. And this is maybe like the hardest part and like where it most comes down to luck than anything else, because I will say like in 2019, I went to the Hermes store closest to me. I was like, oh, I want to buy a pair of boots. I had a really bad experience. I did not buy a pair of boots. I left and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I'll ever do this quota bag thing because it's just like, I had a really bad experience and it was just like not fun for me, you know? And that was in 2019. And then in, I don't know if it was, okay, we can work backwards. So it's 2025, 2024, 2023. So in winter of 2022, I just so happened to go into a store with one of my girlfriends, and we were like being goofy and having a fun time, and we just happened to get matched up with this sales associate, and I just like, it was so fun. We really hit it off. I bought a baby blanket for my friend. She was buying earrings for him. Like we were just having like a fun time shopping, and that is really what kicked off my Hermes journey. And so I would just say, if you're like I wasn't even intentionally thinking that I was going to do that and try and get a quota bag, but I was like, oh, this is a fun shopping experience. Actually, some stuff here is really cute. I mean, I always thought it was cute, but I just was like, ugh, it's not going to be fun. I don't want to go in. But then once I had someone there that I could go in and visit and shop with, it just became more fun. It became really easy. And so finding the sales associate that you have good chemistry with, that is fun for you to shop with, that like understands your style. I think this is really, really, really the trickiest part. But the facts are you're gonna have to find someone and commit to always shopping with them. And so that may take some trial and error. I don't know if I have advice really there other than, you know, I think some people get caught up in like the fallacy of sunk costs. And I would say that's like a known logical like fallacy for a reason. And so don't be fixated on the sunk costs. Be honest with yourself about like, hey, is this fun? Right? Because I just think if it's fun and you're having fun, then everything's going to be easy. And if you're not having fun, like why would you even like want to spend money and try and get a bag or like any of that stuff, if that makes sense. So that's me. That's me. Fun first. And so yeah. So then, okay, if you have the location, you're buying stuff through a singular sales associate, at some point you should bring, you bring up that you want a bag, right? And for me, my advice, I don't know, the way I approached it is I didn't bring up wanting a Birkin or Kelly off the rip, because in my mind, I'm like, don't you like ever, you know, right? Like on some level, I think like all Hermes sales associates know that people want bags. Yeah, I don't think you need to come out and say it. It's kind of like, I've done a past metaphor that has also broken down about it being kind of like dating, where it's like, you know, you don't need to, if you want to like, if you're dating a guy or a girl or whoever, and you're like, oh, I want to sleep with this person, you don't need to like come out on the first date and be like, well, so when are we going to sleep together? You know, like it will happen. If you keep dating that person, it will happen. And if it doesn't, you need to stop dating. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, I guess, given if you're dating that you're interested in like a romantic partnership, like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a given that if you have a partner on some level, it will be romantic, I think for 99% of people. And so you don't need to say it off the rip. It's kind of like a given. That's me. I would say the most important thing overall though is to be authentic to yourself versus follow any of my particular advice. Because if you're being authentic to yourself, it's going to come off great. It's going to come off very natural. If you're like a very direct person, if you're very, you know, like you got to just be yourself and embrace who you are and be loving that and having a sales associate who's loving that too. So, but if it's not like it wasn't for me to just say it off the bat, then I think no need, right? Because the other thing, the next rule of getting a quota bag is it takes patience. You have to be patient. Being patient is like the name of the game. Like I think the CEO of Hermes was like, people just need to be patient. We're not going to be making bags faster. That's just like how long it takes to make them. Like we're trying to increase our supply, but like we can only do so much. And so it's like, you just have to be patient. It's a slow process. You get 2 bags a year. It's not like Chanel limits people to 1 bag a month. And some people like complain about that. If you think about it, it's like actually it's so many bags. And like I was saying before in my unboxing video, I'm like, having these bags kind of, it's not like a burden. It's almost like a responsibility. It's a lot of bag. And this bag, like nothing's gonna ever, this bag is gonna live longer than me, right? Like she's already, what, 3 years old, still looks brand new. It's made out of like industrial saddle leather. Like I could leave it outside in a stable and it would totally survive. I actually don't know how to care for saddles, so, and I won't leave this outside, don't worry. But you know what I mean? It's just like built to effing last. So it's like you don't, in my mind at least, you don't need hundreds and hundreds of these bags. Like they're very much built to last, like kind of permanently in style, like it's a lot, right? So it's like, I can't imagine having double the amount that I have now, but I guess in 3 years, if I continue this way, which I might not, I would. But anyway, patience. I digress. Patience is like a really key part of the process. And so, you know, you have to bring up your intention, of course, with your sales associate and be direct about it, but kind of timing is everything. And so for me, it was about 4 months into shopping with my sales associate that they brought it up actually with me. And I was like, well, you know, I have a lot of bags. And so, you know, the Hermes bags I'd be interested in are quota bags. And I was like very straightforward with that. And then, you know, the first offer I got was this Kelly 25, which was perfect for me because it was pink. And in my area, like neutrals are like the most popular ones. And it just worked really well. And so in that way, yeah, just make your intentions known. Like I was like, I would love any quota bag and like a fun color. That was literally my wish. So I would say the wish list process works differently for everybody. But for me, it's like very general, but I have a really good relationship with my sales associate where they know me really well, I know them really well, and it's just kind of like, yeah, what if you see something and you think of me, give me a call. Like, because the reality is, and I told you I have this mantra where it's like, I have a lot of bags. And it's true, I have a lot of bags. I don't need another bag. Do I want another bag? Like at times, yes, actually a lot of times, because it's like bags are my thing. But I also need to remember I have a lot. I don't need any more. And so it's gonna have to be something, really something, in order to, you know, qualify for a place on the shelf. So, yeah. You're picking a store. You're shopping with a single sales associate, not online. And you're making your wish known in a way that is most authentic to you. And if you like, it really is so simple, I will say, as if you shop at Hermes, you will get offered quota bags. There are like, whatever, secret tips, classes, blah, this, that, the other, that on how to get a bag, but it's like very, very simple formula. Same store, same sales associate, continue shopping there consistently, you will get a bag. Now there's people want a mathematical formula. They try and slice and dice and say, they talk about things like pre-spend, which is how much you spend in as a ratio of what one of these bags costs. There's like, you know, they say the showing your enthusiasm for the brand. That is like buying things that you like and then wearing them to the store, wearing them in your life, like liking things. Like, I think the things that really turn off sales associates are people who are just in it for a bag. And so this is why I said right off the top, you need to like things at Hermes to be doing this, otherwise just buy resale. People are just in it for a bag, like the hit and runs, and worst of all, resellers. So if they feel like you're just buying and selling stuff and not really using it like that, they're not gonna wanna work with you. Now, as far as like the formula, how much do you have to pre-spend and how long does it take? There are many different factors. And it's very hard because someone will say, this was my experience. Like I've even said my experience, and people have been like, well, that's unusual, or that's not very good, or that's too much money, or that's this, or that's that. And the truth is that it's all going to be different because all the clients are asking for different things. Every store has different clients. Every store has different bags coming in. Like, there are just a bunch of factors. If you are the top spender at the store, of course, it's going to be easier for you. But there's a big, what is it? It's like the fat middle. It's like a performance thing from management, you know, like fat middle. Of people spending between maybe 1 and 3x ratio of pre-spend that could be receiving bags, waiting for bags, this, that, and the other. And it's dependent on what are you asked for? Is it coming in? Is it happening? What are the other client lists? Like, there are so many different factors. It's very hard to create a formula. All I can say is if you consistently, and I guess like what is consistent? This is my personal version of consistent. It might be different for other people, but consistent to me is once a month purchasing between, in the range of 1 to 5 or 8, depending, thousand. And that's it. That's it. It's very simple. And then, you know, there's a limit of 2 quota bags per year. And I think there's a limit of 1 bag per month, but I'm not actually sure if that's a real thing or not. I haven't bought enough Hermes bags to the point where that's been an issue actually, but maybe it's not. I actually don't think that's a thing because there's people in Paris that have gotten multiple. Like I said, every rule is made to be broken. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the basics. 1 location, 1 sales associate, buying stuff consistently. To me, consistently is like, it's not a twilly once a month. It's like a twilly and a pair of shoes, or a jacket and a lipstick, or something like that. There are other sort of alchemy things that may be true, may not be true about the journey, where they're like, oh, they like to see you buying lots of different things. I think the only part of that that is really true on like what you should buy versus not buy is buying from just the leather handbag category. Because when your sales associate looks at your profile on their phone or tablet, they see your total spend, I think for the last 2 years, something like that, or last 12 months. It's either 12 or 24 months. How many quota bags you got this year and how many bags you got this year. I think those are like the main numbers that they see. And so some people say or feel that if you got like a bunch of just Picotins and Bullies and Constances and Evelyns, that they may prioritize other clients ahead of you for quota bags. There are other people, I'm sure, that just only buy bags. But I did hear that one, but that's again a little bit of the alchemy advice stuff and not necessarily like the real just facts, which I'm trying to stick to make this a 101 video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how to do it. Shop at Hermes. Buy things that you like there. Spend money. Say that you want a quota bag, and then eventually one will come. Now, again, like I said, every rule is made to be broken. Caveats are, if your sales associate doesn't like you, you probably won't get a bag unless you're spending lots and lots. So find someone where it's fun for you, maybe fun for both of you. I think that would help a lot. And that's the hardest part, right? That's super tough, especially if you're trying to do something remote. So that is tricky. And yeah, that's it. I hope that's the video kind of like, I lost momentum, kind of puttered at the end. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was an interesting video, a helpful video. I know this topic is, like I said, fraught. There's a lot more like rumors and other stuff like that, but this is the 101 video. That's kind of more like 102 stuff. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll try and do more 101 videos if people like this sort of theme. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Have a great day, you guys. Okay, bye.